Waldo Politics is now live. Streaming just chatting. Another political shooting? And Trump says all the crimes out loud. Why isn't chat on screen? Okay, we are good.
Oh, hi. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How is everybody tonight? I am doing great, thank you. Yeah, how's it going? There was another political shooting tonight because that's just what we do now. That is America, and that's where you live. So, of course there is, and of course there is, and always going to be. What is a day in America without another political shooting? So we are going to look at that. I've got some special insight. I have enhanced the photo, the famous photo that's going around. So I hope you're sticking around for that. Then we'll talk about what else do we have to do tonight. It is Wednesday, so I got a whole bunch of links to talk about. We got some funny videos and some JD Vance Nazi stuff, and then some Doge stuff. Doge, did you? They're back in the news. And then Johnny told all the crimes, he told us all the crimes that he committed, which is great because he just tweets them out. He just truths them out. And now we get to know all the bad things he's done. So let's start with the breaking, super exciting news. The, not exciting, but the most important and pressing matter is that there was another bit of political violence today. All violence is political, all of it. But this one specifically, what was this one? What do we have here? Let's get it on the screen. Window capture. We're going to go to, there we go. One dead and two in critical condition after shooting at Dallas ICE facility. Sorry about the Bobo Bark Boy. He is barking up a storm down there. But officials said that the three people shot at the Texas field office are ICE detainees and that no ICE officers were hurt. The shooter was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So he fired at the facility, apparently somewhat at random, just wasn't doing a very good job, and then hit some of the detainees. I mean, was he aiming for the ICE agents or was he not? I don't have any idea. Nobody knows yet because he died. Three detainees were shot at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Dallas this morning, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement. One person is dead. The other two are in critical condition. No ICE officers were hurt. Dallas police said at the news conference.
Signals on this.
Yeah,
It was a sniper after ICE,
yeah,
but he shot at random, but also targeted detainees coming from a van.
Right, exactly. It's all over the road for this stuff. This one is a quite the mess. I don't know what to make of this or who to blame. I know we don't want to blame, but we do kind of want to blame people. But nobody knows what to do about this. The shooter, who was found dead with a self-inflicted gun wound, had been identified as Joshua Jan, according to multiple senior law enforcement officials briefed on the investigation. A bullet found near the shooter bore messages that were anti-ICE in nature. Special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI office, Joe Rothrock, said at a news conference he said the attack was an act of a targeted violence. The shooter fired multiple rounds from a nearby roof on an elevated position down into the field office's sally port. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Firing right into that sally port. Oh. An ICE spokesperson confirmed. The motive, or what the shooter was targeting, was not immediately clear. So, yeah, this one's weird, and nobody knows what to make of it. Let's see if we got more down here. I think there was a little bit more down here. 29-year-old. So he's a little older than the median, but still 29. This is weird. Opened fire. The second instance in 2 weeks. Blah, blah, blah. A bullet found near the shooter had the words anti-ICE written on it. That's where all the tinfoil hats come out. I'm going to put the tinfoil hat on later because it's weird. Written on it. According to the FBI, other recent shooters, including those who assassinated Charlie Kirk and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, have also engraved messages on their bullets. The anti-ICE messaging.
Scribbled, though.
Yeah, it's scribbled, though, with a pen. Surprised Joshua John's brother, Noah John. He didn't have any strong feelings about ICE, as far as I knew. Noah John said of his brother, who DHS officials said fired at the ICE building indiscriminately. So he's just spraying and praying. I don't know. Has he ever used a gun before? I don't know. Maybe. But the photo, let me see if I can get the photo that they use. I've done some enhancements on it so that we can look at it forensically speaking.
Spray and pray with a sniper?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of gun it was, and even if you told me, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? I wouldn't know. So let's do window capture of the. Can I get the right window? Oh, geez. Can I get this one? There we go. Okay. Hang on.
They kept saying sniper. I mean, I'm just going off reporting.
Yeah. And it could have just been, well, I'm about to show you the bullets and stuff like that. So let's click that. Then we'll go here, and then we'll go there. Okay. So these are the things here. See? So it says anti-ice. You can turn your head sideways, and you see ANTIICE. You know, all of the leftists, all the time, we just say anti-ice, written with like a pen. Man, like, I'm putting my head on.
That's a stripper clip too, right?
Okay, my hat is on. The FBI just wrote that there.
M1 Garand shit.
Yeah. It's you press it in there. That was written by the FBI. I really think it was. I think they got there and they didn't know what to do, and they saw the kid kill himself, and they were like, scribble. And you know what probably happened is Kash Patel was like, hey, you, go put some anti-ice sentiment on those bullets. And he's like, you got it, boss. And then he runs out there and he writes anti-ice. And then he forgot how to spell sentiment, or he would have added it to the next one. But I have done some forensic work here. Okay. So I've done some forensic work, and I found that there's more writing on these bullets. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for this, folks? I've done some investigating. I've done some work. We can actually see, if we zoom in, that it says MS-13. It says MS-13 on that one. Shocking, right? I mean, how could it not be MS-13? It says it right there. It's tattooed right there. So I did some more hacking, right? And then I found another message, and it says less than 3 political violence. Less than 3, in case you guys didn't know, is internet slang.
OMG. How'd I miss that?
It's internet slang for a heart. Okay, it means that you love a thing, because when you look at the less than sign and a 3 next to it, it kind of looks like a heart. So you got the there, and you got the 3, and kind of looks like a heart. You know, kind of. And so that was there as well. Okay, less than 3 political violence. Very important. And then I did another scan with my super powerful AI, and it turned up this one: Dems rule and cons drool. Okay, I'm just telling you what I find, guys. It says Dems rule.
I heard that was the symbol of a satanic group.
yeah. The less than 3, it's a satanic thing. And then we have the anti-ice, which everybody can see. But if we scan it, and then I ran it through Grok for the last one, and I found this right here. Antifa Lives Matter. That is probably one of the left's most uttered phrases. Antifa Lives Matter. They tattoo it all across their stuff. They have an Antifa Lives Matter flag. They talk about it all day long. This was clearly, obviously, the work of a left-wing lunatic. I mean, all the evidence is right there. And there's no way you could ever argue with it. I mean, it's all right there in front of your face. And the FBI is quick to show these things and quick to put these things out. And sometimes they're wrong. They were quick to put out this information. And they were quick to put out the information about the last guy, too. And then a lot of it turned out to be wrong. It turned out to be incorrect. It turned out not to be entirely factual, and it threw people off.
This bastard probably played D&D too. 5th edition.
That would make him that would make him a bad guy, any of it. But that would still be preferable to somebody who played 4th edition. Okay? Like, you can't even deal with those people. Not even I'll play 4th edition. Anywho, let me see. What was I going to talk about?
XD.
Yeah, the updates. Here we go. I'll keep my eye on this one, but it is a silly mess. But we have, here we go. Kash Patel. I was he has a weird voice, right? He's got kind of a high voice. I can't really do it, but we'll do his voice. This morning, just before 7 a.m. local time, an individual fired multiple rounds at Dallas, Texas ICE facility, killing one, wounding several others before taking his own life. The FBI, DHS, ATF are on the ground with the Dallas PD and state authorities. I can't do his voice. No. I can go deeper, but I can't get higher. It's weird. While the investigation is ongoing, an initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive behind the attack. See photo below. One of the unspent shell casings recovered was engraved with the phrase anti-ice. You know, the very common catchphrase of the lefties, anti-ice. More updates will be forthcoming. These despicable, politically motivated attacks against law enforcement are not a one-off. We are only miles from Prairie Land, Texas, where just 2 months ago an individual ambushed in a separate ICE facility targeting their officers. It has to end, and the FBI and our partners will lead these investigation efforts to see it that those who target our law enforcement are pursued and brought to the fullest extent of justice. Thankfully, no law enforcement personnel were injured. Just pray for the injured and deceased. I don't know what to make of this. I really do think that they wrote that on there. They did. They just scribbled it on there real fast. And I can't trust them. 10 years ago, if you had asked me, hey, do you think the FBI would just like scribble something onto the bullets? I would have told you no. They wouldn't do that. They respect the idea of evidence and the courts of law and shit like that. But not anymore. It was edgy and a joke.
It doesn't even make sense for a shooter to do it like that.
I know, it doesn't make any sense at all. And that's why it doesn't make sense. It looks scribbled on there. It doesn't look like it was, it doesn't look like that's what the shooter would have done. Like, it's real weird, and we don't trust Kash Patel because he is a liar. He jumps out there with half-assed information and throws everybody off. He jumps out there and he screams left before any of the evidence comes out.
Rewrote those memes until he thought they were good.
Right, exactly. He was the Kirk shooter was deep into internet culture. You know, he knew what he was talking about. He could speak the ancient magic. You don't have to repeat the ancient magic to him. He was there when it was written. Okay, and he knew his memes. He knew what he was talking about. He knew his business. This guy didn't, and I don't know. I don't think he wrote that. And the fact that he only shot the immigrants means he might have been trying to kill the immigrants, trying to get this clash started, this civil war that's bubbling just under the surface. There is a civil war brewing, and he wanted it to get started now. He wanted it to take off. He wanted it to burn up, and that kid from 2 weeks ago got it bubbling even further. He turned the heat up by one notch. This kid wanted to, well, not kid, he's 29, but this guy wanted to turn the heat up a little bit more. I think is the accelerationists from the left and the accelerationists from the right want this fight. They want the smashing. They want the civil war. They want the conflict. And so they're trying to create it themselves. If there isn't enough conflict going on, they will go and make some themselves. And I think that's what we're looking at. I think that's what this guy did too. I think both of them did the same thing. They wanted someone to hurt so that other people would scream about it and talk about it and start a fight. Don't start fights. Stop starting fights. Don't start fights. Don't do violence. FBI, don't go labeling an entire group of people for what one person did. That would be nice, wouldn't it? If we could trust them not to do that. Because I don't trust them. I don't trust them not to write on bullets. I don't trust them to carry out a fair investigation. I don't trust them not to start rounding up innocent people and throwing them into camps because they fall into a demographic that's shared by the people who are doing the violence. I don't trust them not to do that because I think they will. And I think they're already working on it. They're already working on it with the trans people. They're already working on it with well, just with the trans people at the moment. It's what the Nazis did with the Jews, but it's not what we're currently doing. We're doing that with the transes. So, and that's not a good idea. I don't want those things to happen. Let's see if there's any other stuff. And this is part of the reason why we don't trust them. So let's look at some stuff that makes us not trust them. Here is Donnie kind of committing or admitting to crimes. Here is the web view. There we go. PM reviewed 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Shift, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, and nothing is going to be done. Then we almost put a Democrat supported U.S. attorney in Virginia, and it was really bad. Republican passed. A woke rhino who was never going to do this job That's why two of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit. And that we had no case. No, I fired him. And there was a great case. And many lawyers, legal pundits say so. Lindsay is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. President Donald Trump. So what is that? That might be an accidental tweet. It might be an accidental tweet. He might have intended to text that to her, or he was telling her his thoughts at the moment. He deleted that pretty quickly after he posted it. The internet saved it, obviously, and then he posted up an altered version of it. He's telling the head of the DOJ who to go and hurt. Now, if you are new to politics, you might not know that the DOJ and the Attorney General is supposed to work for the American people, prosecuting criminals, finding the people who do the crime, setting up investigations so that we can find out who committed crimes, and then putting them in jail because they're bad for society. The Attorney General is not supposed to work directly for the fucking president. Joe Biden worked his balls off to never speak to Merrick Garland, who was his Attorney General, because he didn't want anybody to think that the president was telling the Attorney General what to do. I know 1 billion years ago, most of you weren't alive, but Bill Clinton talked to the Attorney General for about 4 minutes on a plane. He walked onto there, said some things. We don't know entirely what. The press was there, but they didn't see anything weird about it. And then he walked off. And that started up a fucking shitstorm. It started up all kinds of political fucking tornadoes. Every person on the right, which were Republicans back then, they weren't MAGA back then, screamed bloody murder, that it's unacceptable for a president to talk to the Attorney General and tell them what to do, because the Attorney General would be the person who would go after them for committing a crime. So the Attorney General, if she had any kind of credibility or decency, would investigate Donald Trump for all the crimes he's committed. But she doesn't do that. She works for him. You see, there's a difference. When a Dem has a Attorney General, they try to distance themselves from it so that you don't think that there's some sort of bias going on. When Donnie has an Attorney General, they do exactly what he says every time he says it, no matter what, forever. They work for him. They're his lawyer. And that's the difference between the two parties. I mean, it really comes down to it. That's the difference. And him telling her to do this might be illegal.
Like secure phones don't exist. But meanwhile, Trump tweets.
Yeah, exactly. If this is the kind of shit that got Richard Nixon in trouble. He was telling his Attorney General what to do. We had a whole thing called Watergate because of that. He put it on secret tapes. And then we got those secret tapes. Somebody smuggled them out of the White House and then gave them to some reporters. And then the reporters listened to them. And it sounded like this. And we were about to impeach him. He was inches away from being impeached, and he knew it, so he retired and said, I don't want to be president anymore. I'm stepping down. It's too much politics in this whole fucking president thing. But this is out in the open. He broadcast that to literally everyone. It's not a secret tape. If he's doing this when we catch him, what's he saying when we don't catch him? And what is he telling her to do? To chase down, find a crime. Go find Comey and find a fucking crime. I don't care what it is. Go out and make some shit up. That's what he's telling her. Adam Shifty Shift, go find some crimes. Investigate him until you find a crime. And if you can't find one, make some shit up. Because this has got to be done. They're guilty as hell. Guilty of what, Donnie? It says right there. They're guilty as hell. Of what? He doesn't know. He doesn't care. Find something they're guilty of. Doesn't matter what it is. Get it done. Investigate until you find a crime. So that's what they're doing. here is, let's see. So they're going to do that. Where is the next link? Oh, here we go. This one is Trump pushes Bondi.
Nixon didn't just resign. He was charged with corruption, but was pardoned by Ford.
He wasn't actually impeached. He was about to be. They said to him, hey, listen, we're going to do the impeachment, and you're going to be found to be impeached. And so he resigned. And then, yes, Ford pardoned him. Because that's... American politics usually is a big club of guys who know each other. You're not in the club. But usually they get along with each other. Donnie's something of an aberration. Trump pushes Bondi to pursue cases against his foes as he ramps up retribution campaign. 8 months into his second term, President Trump's long-standing pledge to take on those he perceives as political enemies has prompted debates over free speech, media censorship, and political prosecutions. From a late-night comedian Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, we'll talk about him in a minute, to Pentagon restrictions on our reporters and an apparent public appeal to Attorney General Pam Bondi to pursue legal cases against his adversaries. Trump has escalated moves to consolidate power in his second administration and root out those who have spoken out against him. We can't delay any longer. Yeah, we saw all of this. So she is going to do it. Trump has ratcheted up his discussion of pursuing legal cases against some of his political opponents, part of a vow for retribution that has been a theme of his return to the White House. He publicly pressed Bondi this weekend to move forward on such investigations. And they're going bam. Pam Bondi's DOJ to indict former FBI director and Trump target James Comey. Possible charges could include lying to Congress under oath. The end. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's what they got. Let's see. U.S. Attorney Office in Eastern District of Virginia is preparing to issue formal indictments against James Comey, former FBI director who ran the agency when it was investigated both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The formal charges were not known, but is likely to include a charge of lying under oath to Congress when he testified in the House Oversight Committee and denied authorizing leaks to the media in September of 2020. The indictment, that's it. He denied authorizing leaks. Well, do you have proof that he did it? No? You're just going to investigate and call him names. That's what they want. The accusation is all that matters for the Trump people. The accusation is all they need. As soon as someone in a business suit accuses him of something, somebody at the White House stands behind the podium and says, you did the thing, the MAGA faithful will believe it. They will think that it is true. They will know that it is true. They will repeat it to you endlessly forever because it is now true. Even if the investigation craps out after 6 months, that's 6 months from now. Even if he is found not guilty of all crimes, they will continue to tell you that it's true and it happened. And he just cheated the system, or he knew the judge, or the liberal judge got him off. The accusation is all that matters. So that's what they're going to do. They're just going to accuse him of whatever they can, anytime they can, for no good reason. Let's see. Sorry. If the indictment goes forward, it would make Comey the first on a list of Donald Trump's enemies targeted by this administration to be formally charged, though the president has urged Attorney General Pam Bondi and his various other deputies to pursue prosecutions against other Democrats and political foes, including Schiff and Lisa Cook, who apparently didn't do anything wrong. I think she's been cleared completely, but they don't care. The accusation is all that matters. So, yeah, somebody else got fired. Lindsay Halligan, a former White House aide with a little federal court or prosecutional experience, took over for the Eastern District Office this week as acting U.S. Attorney, a fervent Trump loyalist and yet another member of his legal defense team, tapped for a key role at DOJ. She's taking over an operation which MSNBC reported has been in the work for several weeks. Halligan's predecessor in the role, Eric Siebert, U.S. Attorney confirmed by Congress for the District Virginia, submitted his resignation on Friday. Shortly beforehand, Trump told reporters he wanted Siebert out because he had learned that Virginia's Democratic senators had supported his nomination early in the year. Siebert wasn't going to lie and started an investigation based on nothing. He has some ethics and said, no, I don't see any crimes. Why would I investigate? No, I don't see any evidence of crimes. Why would we do this? Trump doesn't care. MAGA doesn't care. Pam Bondi does not care. They demand everybody be investigated if they don't like them. If they don't like you, you get investigated. Doesn't matter if you did anything wrong or not. Siebert's resignation reportedly came after he failed to make a case on mortgage fraud charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James. She didn't commit any crimes, so this guy didn't chase after her with the Justice Department, and that is unacceptable in Donald Trump's mind. The Trump administration had pressured Siebert to bring charges against James, despite the fact that investigators failed to find evidence of wrongdoing.
Meanwhile, Homan was caught on multicam in a sting accepting a bag of money. Dismissed by Trump DOJ.
He sure was. He works for Trump. He took a bribe. He literally, factually, on camera, took a bribe, and the FBI set him up. The FBI set up a fake person who wanted to give him a bribe, and he took it, and they gave it to him. Crickets. Gone. The DOJ doesn't want to investigate that because he's on their team. That is the problem with these people. That is why you cannot trust Republicans. You cannot trust the Pam Bondi DOJ. I can't trust Kash Patel not to write shit on bullets. I can't. Because they lie. They manipulate the truth, and they ignore actual crimes if their team is doing it, and invent fake crimes if the other team is just breathing and existing. They do not care about you or the law. They want to hurt their enemies. They want to hurt the people they don't like. You can talk to the dog, or you can play with him, or you can ignore him. Bobo's bugging the kid.
I thought you wanted me to do something with his bone, but you already ate him.
If he comes over here, I'll grab him. Should I grab him? I'm going to grab the Bobo. I'm going to grab him. Say hello to the internet, Bobo. Bobo, the baby bark boy. Do I smell like dinner? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Say hi to the people, Bo. Hi, people. Hello. Yawn for us? Usually I bring him up here and he yawns. No? Okay. You can go. Sit right there. He likes to sleep on the top of the couch right there.
Bobo break.
Bobo. And a little cough. Okay. So yeah. Homan breaks the law. They ignore it. They don't care. They ignore it. The DOJ has a very special kind of thing where they can choose which cases to go after. They can choose what to try and prosecute based on what they think will be found guilty. What the DOJ doesn't want to do is go after a bunch of people and then they're found not guilty. They look stupid. They look bad. They seem incompetent. So they put together, if you actually understand the law and you understand what happened, you have a pretty good idea what you can do in a court and who will be found guilty and who will not. You know how strong the evidence is and how you can present it. Good lawyers will know. Donald Trump's surrounded by bad lawyers. You know, they're all crooked. They're all lying. And none of them can be trusted. Just like Kash Patel cannot be trusted. Pam Bondi cannot be trusted to tell you the truth. She cannot be trusted to investigate the guy who actually did a crime. She cannot be trusted when somebody says that there's no evidence. And it just keeps happening. Investigators failed to find evidence of wrongdoing.
Yo, what are we playing back there? FF?
No, that is that's Dragoon. That's The Legend of Dragoon from PS1. That's the kiddo has been playing it for a while.
Nice. Because
I raised him properly. He appreciates PS1 RPGs.
Well, you don't appreciate this one.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I know. That's the thing that's going to get me canceled. It really is. Like, I don't like this game. I know. And I don't know if Ponathan is in chat tonight. I don't think he is. But he really, really, really wants me to play it and tell him about it and how much I love it. And I don't love it. I'm sorry. I don't love it that much. It's not that good. I hate the time tax and I can't ever get them right, and then it makes me mad, and then I want to quit playing. But maybe someday I'll play it, but not anytime soon. I have too much stuff to do. I'm a busy guy. I have a lot of shit to do, Ponathan, okay? I'm having a fight with Adam. You ever have an argument with somebody that when they're not even around? That's what I'm doing. It's literally what I do twice a week, is have arguments with while you guys watch, and I yell at people who aren't here. God, it sounds much sadder when I say it that way. It does.
I think I remember it, but I haven't touched a PS1 in actual decades.
Yeah. But well, this is the retro games that are on the PS5 library thing. Yeah, so it is sad when you if you explain it that way, as I'm screaming into the void at nothing. Let's get back on track, Waldo. What are you thinking? Halligan, meanwhile, has no prosecutorial experience or background in national security, two factors which put her at a disadvantage as she steps into the role of acting U.S. Attorney for the East District of Virginia, because good lawyers don't work with Donald Trump. He is a liar who steals their money and doesn't pay them and forces them to lie and gets them in legal trouble. If lawyers lie, they get in trouble. If they get caught lying, they can be in trouble. They can legally be in trouble. Smart lawyers don't work for Donald Trump. They don't. Greedy lawyers sometimes do, because if you're a lawyer who's willing and able to lie, you get to charge lots of money. But Donnie doesn't pay for that shit. He pays for dumb, cheap, lying lawyers instead of the expensive lying lawyers. It's very complicated. But if you want a lawyer to lie for you, you have to pay them a shitload of money. Donnie doesn't want to pay that money. And the government might not even be allowed to pay them that money. They might be working on, civil servant wages or something like that. I do not know. I'm making shit up now. I'm just talking out my ass now. So what is the next link that I had here? Because I think I got one more about this. Yeah, here we go. Here's the guy that quit. Here's the guy what quit. Let's look at him. U.S. Attorney resigns amid pressure from Trump after sources say he refused to charge Letitia James because she didn't commit any crimes. You see, no crimes, no charges. Very simple. Donnie hates that. He didn't quit. I fired him. Trump posted online early Saturday morning. Eric Siebert resigned his position Friday amid pressure from Trump administration officials to bring a criminal case against Attorney General Letitia James. Siebert, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, informed employees that his office in Alexandria of his decision. For the past 8 months, I have had the pleasure of leading the finest and most exceptional DOJ employees. Blah, 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 blah. No, okay. So he didn't say anything. He didn't even say anything bad about Donald Trump. He didn't say there's nothing here. He just said, I'm going to leave. Thank you. Donnie's mad. Nobody's ever quit on Donald Trump. He always fires you after you quit, because that gives him more power, gives him more authority, makes him feel like a big man. You know, it's very, very exciting. They can't be trusted. And that is the point. We cannot trust the Department of Justice because they are filled with bad lawyers who lie a lot. And so we're going to close that. If you're watching, hop in the chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Let's see. What else is on the news tonight? There was one more thing that he did. Where was it? Oh, well, okay. We'll get to that in a sec. Here is Donnie. So let me cap that off, actually. On Friday, a prosecutor is forced to resign because he concludes that there's not enough evidence.
He's not fired, just not recommended.
Yeah.
If we don't take him, nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Exactly. Friday, a prosecutor is forced to resign because he concludes there's not enough evidence to go after Trump's perceived enemies. Saturday, Trump makes a public post asking the Attorney General why she hasn't gotten after his enemies. And then on Wednesday, the DOJ says the enemy indictments are coming right up. He's telling all of them what to do, and that is illegal. You shouldn't be able to tell the DOJ what to do. They're supposed to be an independent agency that determines what is right, what is wrong, and who they should go after, regardless of politics. The Republicans politicize everything. They always have, they always will. And then they will yell at you for politicizing everything if you disagree with them. You're being political if you disagree with a Republican. He can blatantly tell his head of the DOJ to go after the person who said mean things about him in revenge. And then he'll look you in the eyes and say that the Dems are the political party. It's insane. And here is him committing some more crimes out in the open. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. First of all, why is ABC talking to the White House? First of all, what the fuck? Why are they talking to each other? Did he imagine that? He does imagine a lot of things. He does tell a lot of lies. So did ABC tell the White House, hey, we canceled that guy? Did they go there and tell him that? I don't know. Sounds fishy. Maybe it happened. Maybe it didn't. You never know. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone. And when talent was never there, why would they want someone back who does so poorly, he's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC. No, he's not. And to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. That's an illegal campaign contribution. Not the millions of dollars that Apple gave to your inauguration. Not the millions of dollars that you stole from the New York, from the newspapers and the colleges and the stuff. That's not illegal contributions. No. And that gift that Tim Apple gave you. No. Those aren't illegal contributions. This is him saying that you suck is helping the Dems. So that equals money, and money is being given to them. So ipso facto, if you don't think about it, it makes a lot of sense. We're going to test ABC on this. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. He's going to use the government to hurt them. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, he went after them. He said it his own damn self. Last time I went after them. The last time the president tried to harm a news agency, they gave me $16 million. He did it on purpose to hurt them. He's telling you that he wants to hurt them. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings.
Just straight saying the quiet part out loud.
This is how he gets away with everything, is because he says it blatantly. People think it's normal. It's not normal. This is not normal. If you have any non-political friends, tell them this is not normal. Presidents aren't supposed to go after TV studios. Presidents aren't supposed to intentionally choose who they let off and who gets the law applied to them. Is this what they're doing? This guy has the law ignored. Homan gets to ignore the law. Jimmy Kimmel has to face extra laws. Laws that aren't written down anywhere and are based entirely on Donald Trump's feelings. There's only one law anymore. Make Donald Trump happy. And you know what made him real happy? The writing on those bullets. The writing on that one bullet. Anti-ICE. That makes him happy. That's why I can't trust it. The only law we have anymore is make Johnny happy, which means I can't trust the FBI. I can't trust Pam Bondi. I can't trust Kash Patel. They want to make him happy, and they will lie to you to do it. They will lie to you to make Donald Trump happy. They will lie to the American public to make Donald Trump happy. They will lie to Congress to make Donald Trump happy. They will lie to the senators. They will lie to the House. They will lie in his impeachment inquiries. They will lie to make him happy. That is why we cannot trust them. And John Favreau, one of the, a Dem, I know, but he sometimes gets things right. Trump's government publicly threatens TV network for running a show that mocks the president. Number 2, the show is suspended. Number 3, Trump defenders claim the government had nothing to do with it. 4, the show comes back. 5, Trump publicly threatens TV network again. And they did. They said Donald Trump didn't have anything to do with Jimmy Kimmel getting tossed off. But he obviously did. They called him to talk about it. So he had something to do with it, right? And then he hit them. He went after them last time, and he's going after them again, and he's going to go after them a third time. This man is a criminal. The things he does are not normal, and they are dangerous. They are criminal. And he needs to not have the support of the people anymore. But he's going to keep getting it because they like him, and they like it when he hurts the people they don't like. That is their entire modus operandi. That is their entire ethic. They have usually only one ethic, and that is guns for everybody all the time, forever. That's their first ethic. The second one is hurt the people we don't like. That's why they need the guns, so that they can hurt the people they don't like. And then sometimes, some of the old neocons, some of the old school Republicans actually have a free speech ethic, where they respect free speech and don't like Donald Trump taking it away. Let's keep talking about Mr. Kimmel here, because his ratings jumped to their highest in years with his return to ABC's airwaves. Obviously, everybody's going to watch after that gigantic stunt that Donald pulled that backfired and exploded in his face. So the Donnie lit up the cigar and it blew up in his face, and now we're all going to look at it. What happened? So Jimmy Kimmel comes on. He does the same thing he always does, and it was fine. It was not life-changing. It was not a giant departure from what he usually does, but it was a much anticipated episode following his return from this suspension drew a broadcast audience 4 times larger than average. So, and then he got 6 million broadcast viewers. Disney said that the new release Wednesday numbers compiled by Nielsen, an audience measurement firm. And then there was more. For comparison, according to the numbers provided by CBS News in a Disney spokesperson, Kimmel's show averaged 1.4 million broadcasts during 24-25. So this was like way bigger than his normal stuff because we all wanted to see what happened. He got 26 million views on YouTube. I don't get 26 million views on YouTube. I'm lucky to get into the triple digits. Like, share, and subscribe. And we can actually see, was it here? No, it was here. This guy's telling you about it. Here, listen to this
Only
guy.
gets 240,000. Look how many views Tuesday night's monologue already has. 6.7 million. That's over 25 times as large as the median Jimmy Kimmel video normally gets. And I was looking, it is by far the largest video in at least 6 months. So if Donald Trump's idea was to give Jimmy Kimmel more press and more viewership, he absolutely did so. Of course, I don't think that is what Donald Trump intended to do.
So, yeah, he made the guy more famous than he actually already was. It blew up in his face. And then he posts bullshit about how he's going after them again. It's insane. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not playing chess. He's not a smart guy. He's just trying to do extortion all the time. And so his what was his name? Andrew Carr or whatever is probably going to shoot down.
I watched it. It kind of sucked. XD.
It was mediocre. It always is. He wasn't some raging leftist. He really wasn't. Jimmy Kimmel was a normal guy doing normal late night comedy. He wasn't anything special. He wasn't a firebrand. He wasn't like old school Letterman. Letterman back in the 70s and stuff like that was kind of edgy. He wasn't so much in the later years. In the 2000s, he was just kind of old. That's what happens. You lose your edge when you get old. It's okay. It happens. I'm more chill than I was 20 years ago, obviously. But I'm also smarter, so it's okay. But yeah, Letterman was kind of edgy back in the day. Jay Leno was never any good. Anywho, and Colbert, even him, he was edgy. He was insulting the other party. A lot of them didn't know he was insulting them because he played his part so well. And then he got the main channel, CBS Channel 7 thing, and he was like, "Oh, I'm done with all that edgy stuff. I'm just doing straight middle of the road stuff now." And I watched Colbert's first episode because I watched all of Colbert on Comedy Central, the Colbert Report. I watched all that because I thought it was good. Then he went to CBS, and I was like, "Oh, this is just plain. It's bland. It's vanilla." And I was like, "Oh, where's all the spite? Where's all the edge? Where's all the spice?" And there wasn't any. But that's the trade-off you have to make. If you want to be good for everyone, you can't be edgy. You can't be sharp. You can't be too spicy. There's too much spice, and people won't pay attention to you. That's exactly why I only have 5 viewers right now, because I'm too spicy. Just kidding. I'm a nobody, and I know that, and it's fun. I like being nobody. It gives you some freedom that other people don't get. So, what else is on the news tonight? Oh, okay. Here we go. This one's just fun. This is a little break. We're going to take a little fun break. The president went to the UN the other day, and it was just awful. You shouldn't watch the whole thing. It is just terrible, and you shouldn't watch the whole thing. But there was a lot going on. Let's see. Web view. So this is from CNN. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall. Blah 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 blah. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's his new thing. My first El Salvador. The prison that he built there is pretty crap. He shouldn't build gulags in El Salvador. That would be bad. Stop doing that, please. In a period of 7 months, I've ended 7 unendable wars. 7 unendable wars. He's so full of shit. I bet he couldn't even name them. If you asked him what 7 wars did you shut down, he wouldn't be able to tell you. It's horseshit. None of it makes any sense. The UN didn't do its head. The building needs work. He wants to make the building better. Everyone says I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements.
How did he end then if they were unendable?
Well, that's not important. You shut the hell up, Shinzento. You shut your filthy mouth. He ended the unendable wars. Okay? You shut up. You and your damn logic. Damn you and your infernal logic. 7 wars. Yeah, again, he should have the Peace Prize about the building. World minority not recognized a Palestinian state. As if to encourage the continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message. Release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now. I don't think, could they possibly still be alive? I don't think they could. You imagine that you had hostages there, and then Israel just bombs the shit out of everything. They're probably dead. He's gonna 2057. Yeah, he did embarrass us. I agree. 2057. We're still going to be hearing about these hostages. That we're taking on October. Even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it, they're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? Europe does indeed continue to import oil from Russia, but far less than before the war, when Russia was Europe's largest oil importer. The U.S. continues to import things like fertilizer from Russia, according to CNN. So we're still buying things from them as well. Johnny, are you going to help pay for the oil from somewhere else to get these people in a state of living? You could do that, but you're not, because you want Russia to win. And he had a tweet not too long ago about how he's not going to do anything for NATO until all of the countries stop buying Russian oil. One of those countries is Hungary, which is friends with him, and some of the neighboring friendly states with Russia are buying that oil too, and they like it. They want to. Turkey, I think, is doing it. What was it, Turkey or Hungary? I always get the two confused. But I think Turkey is buying oil from Russia because they're friends, they're buddies, and so they're never going to stop, and they're a part of NATO. Which means that Donnie put together a situation that can never happen, which means he gets to wiggle out of any responsibilities toward NATO because he hates NATO, because he doesn't know what it is and he doesn't understand it. Oh, and then he blamed the Wuhan lab for COVID because he's dumb. And then you're destroying your countries. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. The hell is he talking about? Oh, he talks about brown people. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens. Brown people. Like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody's going to do anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're just doing it. Absolutely nothing about it. The issue of immigration is roiling politics in Europe too. Trump wants to help fuel a surge to the political right. Trump also made a wild accusation about London's mayor, a spurious claim about the rise of Sharia law in London. He said that they're doing Sharia law in London, which isn't true. It is, Shinsuto. You're absolutely correct. Your countries are going to hell. Flipping the script on immigration. Then blowing up the boats of the Caribbean. He's just bragging about all the political violence he's doing. And this is all going to lead to violence, man. All of this is political violence. It leads to it. This is just economy. El Salvador is about gulags, political violence, putting people in a gulag. Then we got wars that he stopped but didn't really. So that's about the lack of political violence. So when he stops violence, you should give him an award. But then he wants to do more violence by kicking out all the people he doesn't like, all the races that he doesn't appreciate. Your countries are going to go to hell. Immigration, stop the people immigrating. Force them with violence to stop them from coming into your country. We've recently begun using the supreme power of the United States military violently to destroy Venezuelan terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro. To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. You could catch them. If you know where they are, you could put another boat in front of them and capture them. You could do that. You don't have to explode them with missiles, but you like to because it's fun. And then they don't have to have trials because they're dead. Doing war crimes is way easier than not doing war crimes, man. Exactly. If they captured them, they'd have to feed them and put them in handcuffs and take them to the place that they're from. And then you'd have to question them. And then you'd find out whether or not they were actually smuggling drugs. And sometimes they didn't or weren't. Or they have an excuse. Or they have a reasoning behind it. Because I'm going to tell you, anybody in those boats, not a genius kingpin. They don't have the highest IQ people driving those boats. They have the poorest people. They have the peons who are expendable. So it's always been, if you've ever researched drug smuggling from South America up into North America, you'll find out that they find poor people, put a gun to their head, put a gun to their family's head and say, you will get in this fishing boat, carry all these drugs north, or else we'll start pulling triggers. And then the poor person who has nothing and has no way to fight back says, okay. And if they're lucky, and they don't get caught by the police, or they don't get caught by the military, or they don't get hit with a Hellfire missile, which is a new thing. They didn't have to used to worry about that. If they're lucky, they make it to California, they offload it to somebody, and then they get paid $17, and then they're in America. And they can maybe go back to their home, or maybe they can find a job here and send some money home. Best case scenario for these people. These are not hardened, lifelong criminals. They're slave labor. And you're blowing them up, Donnie. You're blowing them up. Imagine imagine during the Civil War, would you be proud if you fought for the North and you saw slaves forced to march north? They didn't want to, and they would rather not be there, but they're forced to march north and you shot them. Would you be happy about that? Would you be proud of that? I wouldn't. I would be disgusted with the fact that it's happening at all. Anyway, that's a theory. That's just an analogy I thought up right off the top of my head. But the people driving those boats are slave labor. They're not criminal masterminds. They're not hardened, lifelong criminals. Most of them are just so fucking poor that they don't have a choice. Either they're forced into it through violence, or they really just cannot make money any other way. Let's see. So what else did he have to say? Renewable energy is the worst. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. Falsely named renewables. He doesn't know what that word means. He does not know what the word renewable means. It means that tomorrow there's going to be some more wind. We don't run out of wind.
Last I checked, smuggling drugs wasn't punishable by death.
It's not. And they're doing capital punishment for it because they don't care. They love political violence. They less than free it, if you saw the beginning of the stream. But yeah, he doesn't know what the word renewable means. There will be more sunlight tomorrow. There will be more wind tomorrow. There will be more waves, and there will be more, what's the other renewable? I don't remember. But that stuff doesn't go away. We will run out of oil someday. We will. It's going to run out. There's not going to be any more. We will run out of coal someday. Probably a lot farther off, but coal is pretty gross and dirty, and we have to tear off mountains to get to it now anyway. So we need a transition. But he doesn't know what the word renewable means. He just calls them fake renewables. These not real renewables.
Trump is just an extreme ornithologist. He's just worried about the birds.
I know, he is very worried about the birds. I agree with you. They don't work, they're too expensive, and they're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make our country great. Sorry, I just got over a cold this week. So, sounded weird. Oh, God. Now my throat doesn't work. One sec. And then he goes on to call the Green New Deal, which never actually passed, a giant scam. Calls climate change not real because he's a moron and he's paid not to understand these things. And then he's been right about everything except literally every single thing he said in the speech is literally factually wrong, but he's been right about everything. Stop being nice. Instead, defend your heritage. You want me to be nice? You want me to be politically correct? And you're destroying your heritage. He means race. They must take control strongly and immediately of the unmitigated immigration disaster and the fake energy catastrophe before it's too late. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, and they're heading down a path of total destruction. He hates anybody who isn't white so much. But this is the language of white nationalists. It really is. Destroying your heritage. This is some 14 words kind of shit. Argument against doing anything at all about the climate, so don't do anything about climate. In Asia, they dump much of their garbage right into the ocean, and over about a week or 2 week journey, it flows right past Los Angeles. You've seen it, massive amounts of garbage, almost too much to do anything about, flowing past Los Angeles, past San Francisco, and then somebody will get in trouble because we dropped a cigarette on the beach. Whole thing is crazy. He's just rambling, incoherently, madness, insanity. I called for more air conditioning, because energy prices are on the rise, but and in part due to the needs for AI. We're going to use so much electricity to make AI that sells us cheap garbage. It's going to sell you crypto coins that aren't real. It's going to sell you fake pictures of monkeys, and we're going to run out of electricity, and then the planet's going to get hotter through climate change, and then all the water's going to dry up, and we're not going to have any ice caps, and all the water's going to be gone because we spent it on cooling the AI. Let's see. Clean, beautiful coal. That's a fucking lie. There's no such thing. Make the world great again. In closing, I just want to repeat that immigration and the high cost of so-called green energy, renewable energy, is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. Countries that cherish freedom are fading fast because of their policies on these two subjects. You need strong borders and traditional energy sources if you're going to be great again. So go backward. Go backward. One, do nationalism. One race per country only. And then you dig up coal only. Oil only. Donnie, I'm sorry, man. Coal is not the way to the future. It's the past. You're not going to get to Mars on a coal-fired fucking spaceship. You're not. You're not going to get... Coal is not the future. It's the past. Please move forward. For the love of God, turn around. Look at all the future ahead of everybody who isn't you and do something intelligent for the people who come behind you. Come after you, not the people who are older than you. That doesn't make any sense. But the real big important thing, nobody cares about that. All the shit that I just told you, not important. Who gives a fuck? Liberal.
There was report on a rise in black lung, no joke.
Yeah, exactly. Black lung is on the rise because we're doing more coal stuff. But none of that's important. That's all shut up. Don't listen. Not important. What is important about this speech, the thing that you need to take away from it, all of the important shit that all of this wide-ranging political stuff, global politics that he talked about, none of that is important. Shut the fuck up. Listen to the important bit right here.
If there was sabotage here, somebody doesn't know that
Sabotage.
the president and the first lady aren't going to fall down, and that would be a big problem.
Yeah, that would have been
Also,
terrible.
you should secure the button if you have the leader of the free world on.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Oh my
Peter,
God,
thanks so much.
another assassination
Is
attempt.
it a coincidence? I mean, you had
You
the
ready?
teleprompter go
Look
down.
at this.
Yeah, the escalator stopped. Katie Pavlich said in the press room when they were listening to the
Look at this. You
speech,
ready? You ready?
when the
Ready?
president started talking, the volume went down significantly.
They get on the
Couple
escalator,
things that the president brought up I thought was so great.
Boop.
He said that
and it stopped. Oh my God, somebody pressed the button to make the escalator stop.
the climate change hoax. All you people.
That was an assassination attempt, y'all. They could have fallen down. You don't know if they're going to fall down or not. This is assassination attempt number 3. Okay. They pressed that button and they stopped that escalator. And then the teleprompter stopped working. Okay. They're out to get him. This is sabotage most foul. This is high treason. And I demand consequences and repercussions. Okay. Damn it. That is what we need. We need people come together. We need the DOJ to stop paying attention to the Jan 6 riots and all that shit and stop paying attention to everything else and find out who pressed that button and who killed the teleprompter. Okay. That's what's important. That is what's important. That whole speech he gave about climate change being a hoax and how you need more coal and more oil, that's like secondary.
Look
to
at the dude with
the
the can.
escalator gate.
Bro Def got his shoe caught at the top trying to take a pic.
Was it? I mean, I can rewind it a bit. Let's see.
Katie Pavlich said in the press room when they were listening to the speech, when the president started talking, the volume went down significantly.
There's a couple of things that the president brought up I thought was so great. He said the climate change hoax. All you people putting all this money into green energy, enough with the windmills. I love that North Sea, start drilling on it.
I love that North Sea, start drilling on it. Drill, baby, drill. That'll solve your problems. That'll solve all your
It's
problems.
right when the guy would get to the top.
Oh, okay.
Also, while calling him out and challenging people
Yeah, he probably
to stop
did. He probably fell
wasting
down.
money on this. You heard Mike Waltz tell us that there's 7 commissions on climate change. Meanwhile, we got wars raging around the world. Get your act together. And
Don't worry about that thing that's going to kill everybody. You need to be worrying about the thing that's killing a few people. Climate change will kill you. Kill meat. He doesn't know that. He thinks it's a hoax. He imagines that it won't bother him. He's got enough money to like move north, you know, whatever new city in the north that everybody goes to up in Greenland. He'll have the money to go there. You are on your own. You'll probably die in a water war. Yeah, that's the important bit. So yeah, don't worry about the crazy shit that they said. Don't worry about what his speech was or how rambling and insane it was. Just worry about the escalator. Escalator gate is the most important part. Okay, so this is just silly as well. Jonathan Vance said, American space program, the first program to put a human being on the moon, was built by American citizens. This idea that American citizens don't have the talent to do great things, that you have to import foreign class of servants, I just reject that. Any history buffs watching tonight? Anybody who knows about the American space program in like the 1950s and 60s? You think he's missing something here? You think he's leaving something out? I think he is. I think he's leaving out the fact that it was Nazi scientists that got us there. We're supposed to technically citizen, also Nazis or not. So Werner von Braun, SS member and head of Germany's V2 ballistic missile program, was the guy who built the rockets. He built them at Pre-New Mund before he built them in Huntsville with 1,600 of his Operation Paperclip buddies. So, J.D. Vance, either one of two things. One, he doesn't know any of this, which is possible. He is stupid. Two, he thinks Werner von Braun was an American citizen, which would make sense because he's a Nazi. See, J.D. Vance always has been a Nazi. And so when he hears that Werner von Braun built the rockets, he's like, yeah, that good, honest, red-blooded American built those rockets for us. Exactly. He's, I don't know. Yeah. See, he's whitewashing it. He's making it cool to be a Nazi again. It's going to be great. He's just the best. He is just the best. If he's doing this accidentally, it's hilarious. If he's doing it on purpose, he's a master level troll who deserves everything that's coming to him. Speaking of government fuck-ups, let's look at this. Trump administration rehires hundreds of federal employees laid off by the Doge. Remember the Doge? I know that Doge was 8 months ago, and that is 900 years somehow. It was 8 months ago, but 900 years ago. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it was. We're going to have to hire hundreds of federal employees who lost their jobs in Elon Musk's cost-cutting blitz and are being asked to return to work. The Doge, the department that wasn't a department of government efficiency, which was the opposite of efficiency, it made everything worse. It made everything more expensive. It made everything stop working. It didn't efficiently do anything. It made everything worse. He's now going to hire them back. The General Services Administration has given the employees who managed government workspaces until the end of the week to accept or decline reinstatement. According to an internal memo obtained by the Associated Press, those who accept must report for duty on October 6th after what amounts to 7-month paid vacation. 7 months of not working while being paid. How is that more efficient? Elon, my man, that's the opposite of efficiency. That's money for nothing. Then you bring them back and they have to get caught back up, and now they're 7 months behind. That's the opposite of efficiency. This is the opposite of efficiency. You can't trust Republicans to run a lemonade stand. You can't trust them to run the dog pound. You can't trust them to run a banana stand. You cannot trust them to run a snow cone little hut. You can't trust them for anything. You can't trust Republicans to run things. They hate things. That is their entire deal. They hate the things. So they tell you how much they hate the things and how it's a mistake and how they're doing it wrong. And when you put them in charge, they're like, well, I don't know how to run it. And then they crash it into the ground. And they make the government efficiency office pay people for 7 months of not work and then hire them back. And I know you're thinking, Waldo, you can't have like the exact opposite link right here, but I can. White House to agencies prepare for mass firing plans for a potential shutdown. Oh, guys. In a memo, the Trump administration says the reduction in force plans would go beyond standard shutdown furlough. So they're going to fire more people too. They're hiring all the people back from Doge, and they're getting rid of some new people because of the shutdown. The White House Budget Office is instructing federal agencies to prepare for a reduction in force plans in mass firings during a possible government shutdown, specifically targeting employees who work for programs that are not legally required to continue. So we're hiring all the people back from Doge. We're kicking out all the people that we don't want to get rid of. And then 6 months from now, we'll find out that those people that we kicked out because of the shutdown are super important, and we definitely need them, and then we will hire them back. Republicans cannot run a government. They can't run a government. They can't. They don't know how. They don't believe in government. They don't trust it. They don't understand it. They just hate things and hate people. And if your thing or that is nice to those people, they hate both. They hate you and they hate the thing and they hate the people and they hate all the things. And they will tell you that they can run it better. They can't. They're lying. They don't know how to run anything. hell is this? Oh, this is some, you ready for some MAGA communism? You ready for this? MAGA communism. Here we go. Let's roll.
The idea of government owning portions of public companies, this is something that free market people have to get their heads around. They're not.
You have to get your heads around the government is going to own your company for you. So, communism, socialism.
They're not clear about your agenda. So walk us through what you're thinking. The government took a 10% stake in Intel. The government is talking about taking a
It's MAGA communism is what it is, yeah.
stake in a minerals company. The government will own, obviously, conservatorship with these companies, even if they sell 5% of it. What should we think about that? Because some people say, well, look, if government owns a portion of a company, then that's going to mean that that company gets better treatment than another company. For example, I spoke with the CEO of Figure, who's also a mortgage originator. Here's what he said. Watch this.
I feel you.
In terms of the market that is available to you right now, the potential market, what would that look like?
One of the big ones that we're going after is first lien mortgage. So we're now competing directly with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, using blockchain technology as an advantage. And
he doesn't know what blockchain is. Neither do the people watching this.
And for certainly loans under $500,000, we're winning in that competition right now.
And Fannie and Freddie are likely going to see their own IPOs once again, right? President Trump expected to take 5% of those companies public. Does that sort of even pony up the competition that much further?
Well, we like competing against them as private enterprises. They get a little bit of an unfair advantage as a government-backed entity, but so it levels the playing field a little bit. But right now we're winning irrespective.
So broadly speaking, is it an unfair advantage when government has a stake in a public company? And you could look at Fannie Mae, you could look at...
Yes, it actually is.
Look at this.
I'm an actual socialist, and I will tell you, yes, it actually is. If one company is owned by the government treats them better and cuts their taxes and gives them benefits, it is better for them. Now, is that unfair? Yes, it also is. Why would we want that as a socialist? We want that for things that people don't have a choice in. You don't have a choice if you need insulin. It's not a choice you get to make. You don't have a choice if you need cancer treatments. Not a choice you get to make. You can have it or you can not have it. And I don't want that to be based on market volatility, on paying money. You deserve, because you are a human being in the richest country in the world, you deserve health care. You have to pay some through your taxes as much as you can, as a sliding scale. The more money you make, the more you pay. For the more people underneath you, that's just the right way to do it. And the poor pay almost nothing. That's a socialist takeover of healthcare. Yes, great, good. I like it. I'm on board. Do we want it for mineral companies? No, that doesn't make any sense. Do we want it for chip companies? No, that doesn't make any sense. We now own a part of the Intel. Terrible idea. Fucking terrible idea. That's the worst parts of socialism. It's like Donald is taking the worst parts of socialism and making them worse and jumping in on all the bad parts, all the flaws within it. He found the flaws within Marxism and he's implementing them. Jesus Christ.
Intel.
Well, Maria, there are decisions that the U.S. government makes that we believe is good for society. We believe home...
Good for society? Listen to this Karl Marx motherfucker right here. Good for society. It's good for the proletariat, man.
Ownership is good. So therefore, the government wants to be involved. And
Government ownership, man. There it is. MAGA communism, baby.
I can tell you, like having come into government for the private sector, that what we have seen here is that there was a breakdown in our supply chains, and whether during COVID, whether it was semiconductors, whether we're seeing it with the Chinese putting export controls on rare earths. So there are some things for national security or that we have made the decision as a society we want to do. But I can tell you, like the Intel stake, it's now been validated that NVIDIA's come in and taken a stake. The biggest company in the world. President Trump again he looks for solutions. He was like, well, why were we subsidizing Intel? Why shouldn't the American taxpayer have some of the upside?
Yeah, it's very interesting. The way you monetize
The taxpayer will get none of the upside.
the balance sheet.
But monetizing the balance sheet, because
The idea
They will get nothing. You will get nothing. The American taxpayer will get nothing from this. Nothing. Zero. Nada. If Donnie's a complete criminal, he'll keep all the shares himself. Say that he did it. You know, what are you going to do? Argue with him? You're going to go in and take his shares away? Who's going to fucking do that? Even if the SEC had any kind of teeth or balls, they would take away 10% of them and give him a fine. And then he would sell the other 90% for a gigantic, obscene profit. What? And then even if he doesn't do that, he's just going to give them out to, if he's slightly crooked, he'll give out to partners. He'll give them out to his friends. Besant there will just get a big fat slice of Intel on his way out the door. The next ambassador that he wants to pay off, he's like, hey, how would you like a percentage of Intel? There you go. What have you done for me lately? Oh, you did me that favor? You talked to that ambassador over there? Yeah, here's a slice of Intel. Because he's just wheeling and dealing. He's a criminal. He's a fucking mob boss. And he owns a part of their company. Sure would be shame if something happened to it. If they come out against him. And that's the other thing is, yeah, it's good for them right now. But what if he tells them to do something stupid? What if he tells them to do something that's bad for their business and they tell him no? He will hurt their company. He will raise their prices. He will put their CEOs under investigation. This is the worst parts of Marxism. It really is. And Donnie's implementing them. And it's going to be great. It's going to be fucking terrible. It's not going to be great. I'm being sarcastic. It's going to be awful. Because the dumbest people on the right are going to see this, recognize it for communism, and then come and yell at me when it goes wrong. Johnny does bad communism, and so they'll come and yell at me and say, Johnny did communism exactly like you told him to do, Waldo, and it failed miserably. And I'll be like, man, I didn't tell him to do that. I wanted him to do it for healthcare, not Intel. MAGA communism, the worst version of all communisms. Well, that's it for me tonight. My throat is, I thought I felt better, but I had a cold this past Monday, and then I can feel it in here. I can feel it right in there. I can feel it in here. And this is where I want to cough. This is where all the coughs are. There's a bunch of coughs right here. And it's making me feel bad. So I'm going to call it off early tonight. I appreciate it was here. Any of it, thanks for being here. Shinsinto, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love you. And everybody, thanks for being here. I will turn this into some YouTube videos, going over to the YouTube. I've been getting views lately. It's very nice. Most of them are hate views, but views are views. I don't care.
We've always been communist. It's just down up instead of up down, by the way.
You're right. It's down up. Yeah, you're right. The people on bottom pay more percentage of their wealth to the people on top, so that the people on top can live a better life and be a whole society. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's the way it goes. Let's see. Today is Wednesday, so I will be back on Saturday unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks. I love you. Bye-bye.